Okay, so hello and welcome. In today's class, I'm going to discuss about the Beago question. So first, I'm going to read the pre-scene material of Beago, and then I'm going to go forward the other area. So let's just quickly read the Beago thing. I'm going to figure out what actually the examiner is asking, and this will help us in identifying. So this pre-scene information is basically being available beforehand, before the students going into the examination themselves, before the student actually entering into this exam. So this pre-scene is an information that is given by ACCA around 15 days before the examination. After this pre-scene, I normally conduct a class for the analysis of the pre-scene as well. So this is the pre-scene for that is applicable for September 2024 exam. So not an old one. This is a new exam. So we need to cover this up. But I really like this exam because this is an examination, or this is a practice question that is quite comprehensive, and that will actually help you guys in understanding the content. So, firstly, it's the same. They have given us information they have given us an introductory paragraph. Then they have given us some industry related information as well, the TNC industry information. They've given us an overview about the TNC industry, then the BLEND market, how the BLEND market basically work. Then they have given us the information regarding the TNC services, TNC customers, TNC drivers, the ride hailing and the ride sharing process, industry challenges, latest developments that are available. Then there's the food delivery information given to us. Then what about the driverless cars? The autonomous cars, the electronic vehicles. So it's a very good scenario to practice before going into your real examination. Industry key performance indicators are also given, and there is some regulations given regarding the industry. Then they have given us the Beago's overview, the background, the Beago growth, ownership, services offered by the Beago. So it's a ride hailing and a ride sharing, micro mobility, and business services. Technology that is used by Beago, Beago staff, senior leadership structure, key risk. Then they have given us Biego's website extract and KPIs. So there are there's lots of information given to us regarding the Biego as well as the industry. So now I'm going to start with the introduction. Obviously, the introduction is the most important thing. Just a minute. It says that the Biego is a transport network company. So we need to figure out that this is basically a transport network company known as TNCs, operating in the country of the BLEND, which has a population of around 200 million people. So knowing the population means knowing the demand. If we know that the population is on the higher side, this means that the demand will also be on the high side, and demand will also be great. Then it says Viego was established 12 years ago. So it's like 12 years ago, this company came into existence. Okay. So, and has since grown to become the second largest TNC business in the BLN based on the revenue and the customer number. So, this is second largest TNC business, that is transport network company. So, whenever I say transport network company, it means logistic company as well, and it means a company that take a human being from one place to other. Then there's a TNC industry information as well. So we have some TNC industry information. There is an overview given about the TNC. A TNC is a business which provides on-demand transportation services to customer, like Uber and Careem. It's an on-demand transportation sector that provide on-demand transportation to the customers, right? Through a website or a mobile app. Obviously, Uber and Careem works on the same pattern. Unlike traditional taxi cab hire businesses, TNC do not maintain their own fleet of vehicles. So this means that there are people or employ their delivery drivers. Instead, individual drivers or cars work as an independent contractors for the TNC. Same goes for the Uber and Careem. The Uber and Careem individuals are also the second party or third party, and they register themselves on the Uber network The car that they drive are actually not owned by Uber and Careem. So this is the same thing that is right now applicable. So TNC also do not have their own fleet of vehicle, and they do not employ any drivers directly for their businesses. Instead, individual drivers of the cars work as an independent contractor. So they are working as an independent contractors, not connected with TNC in any way. Customers request a ride through the TNC platform and are then connected to a contracted driver who is also connected to a platform. Right. So it's like the entire set of TNC or Biego industry is totally dependent on the IT related areas. Remember, the entire TNC is totally dependent on the IT related stuff. So we need to keep this in our mind. Then it says, for the purpose of the pre-scene and the case study exam, the term TNC will be used to define the business which offers the range of services outlined on page number 3 and 4. So whenever we say TNC, it means all the services that are outlined on page number 3 and 4. So that's okay, we'll look into it. Now, Beeland has a well-developed economy. So Beeland is the economy in which the TNC is working, and nearly 80% of its population live and work in its urban area. So definitely, if the 80% population is working in the urban area, and urban areas are basic demand for such transportation companies, and transportation companies are going to work well in the urban area. So its public transport facilities, including buses and trains, have come under increasing pressure in the recent year due to the rapid growing urban population, leading to overcrowding and unreliability. Beeline government is therefore supportive of innovative ways to address the transportation challenges. So this means that transportation is a challenge right now being faced in the Beeline, and TNC have a very fair demand structure available. If TNC is innovative, then the government are going to help the TNC in in incorporating these innovations. So TNC have proved to be popular in the cities as they offer a convenient and reasonably priced alternative to public transport. The government of the BLN sees TNC as an alternative to people owning and using their car. So the government think that the transport network companies are basically an alternative way in which the people are encouraged not to use their own cars, rather to go on with these transportation services. So let's look at the Beelen's market. So Beelen's market is Zembi is Biego's main competitor. Zenbi is Biego's main competitor. So we are the second largest company, as it was told to us in the first opening paragraph. I believe Zenbi is the first largest and was the first TNC business um, established in the Beelans. Then 14 years ago. So we were established 12 years ago. This company established 14 years ago. Zembi is currently the largest TNC operating in the Beeland and is the world's second largest. So it is largest in Biego and the world's second largest. So it's a huge competitor in our economy. Currently operating over 50 countries. I don't know if Biego is also operating over 50 countries or no. Biego was established 2 years after Zenbi. Obviously, we are 12 years old, and over the years has gradually obtained a significant proportion of Zenbi's market. So we have been doing great by taking over the Zenbi's market share, which is good. Biego only operates in Beeland, offering its services in 250 cities across the country. Currently, the local authority of each city sets its own criteria for allowing the operating license to TNCs and their drivers. So, Biego only operates in the Beeline. Now, this is something which I would rather consider as not utilizing the opportunities properly. Why? Why? Because you can see that the first company, that is the Zenbi, is operating in more than 250 countries, but Biego is only operating in Beeline, offering services to 250 cities. So that's okay if you're offering services to 250 cities, but you're not operating worldwide. So I would rather say that operations worldwide, that is in 50 countries, is better than operating in 250 cities only. Currently, the local authority of each city sets its own criteria for allowing the operating licenses to the TNC and their drivers. So there are own criteria for licenses. Several TNC businesses have been attracted to the B-Lens market in the last decade, but most of these currently only operate with a limited number of cities. At the end of 20x3, together Zenby and Biego held 85% of the TNC's market. So this is a very huge number. So the two companies standalone margin is 85%. Customers registered with the TNC in the BLN have doubled in the last 8 years. So this means this is actually depicting the demand that the customers have doubled in the last 8 years. So if they were 100, so now after 8 years they have reached to a number of 200 new customers, 200 customers in total. By the end of 2023, 25% of the BLAN population were active users of TNC network. Uh, However, competition from the customers also came from the traditional taxi cab and from public transport, including the train and buses. So there is competition from train and buses, but you can imagine that the total demand is surpassing the level of surpassing the basic level of increment. So the TNC market share, you can see Zembi is the on the top one, then Biego from 20W2 to 20x3, and the other market share. So Zembi has taken a huge market share all around the previous years. The TNC user growth in the B land have grown a lot. Like, it has reached from around 1 or 2 million customers to around 50 million customers, or near to 50 million customers. Now, what are the TNC services? So, TNC services means transport network services. By transport network services, I mean the services that are being offered by the industry. It is not necessary that the BAGO company is also offering all of these services. I'm not sure if they are offering, but we might be able to see it. So it says that the TNC service ride sharing. So there is first service that is known as services ride sharing. Description: the term ride sharing refers to sharing a ride with other passengers. A shared ride allows multiple and unrelated customers with pickup and drop off location along the same or similar route. For example, there is a car that is going from the one route from road A to road B. And if, let's suppose, there are three different customers, three all unrelated customers, and they are also going from the same road A to road B. So this car might be taking three different customers onto the platform, onto the area right from road A to road B. So this is ride sharing service. It's like a bus service, but summarized in the form of car, with pickup and drop off location along the same or similar routes to share the vehicle for that journey, usually at a discounted price. So obviously, if the ride is being shared by four people, that is one driver and three people, so this means that the price is going to be substantially on the lower side. Both Zenby and Biego were initially established to offer a ride sharing service, enabling the driver and customers to connect and share a ride. So initially, both these companies started off their businesses by just offering this one singular service. But as the time passed, the services have now increased in number. So ride sharing aim to reduce the number of single occupancy. So if I'm going single person into a car, and if I'm going from one place to another, this is going to be an expensive ride rather than going for a ride sharing. So reducing congestion and impacting positively on the environment. For example, if four different people or three different people take three different rides, so that is going to be more in terms of pollution. That is going to be more in terms of non-environmental friendly procedures. So if you want to be environmental friendly, this is a good option. So you can connect the CSR, that is corporate social responsibility, as well. The cost of the ride is also shared between each customers, making it cost effective. Transportation options. Customers must specifically request a shared ride on the TNC platform and use the services. So you have to go and specifically request the shared ride, and at the end of the day, you will be able to use this service. Then there is a ride hailing service. So the term ride hailing refers to when a customer requests a driver to take them to exactly where they need to go. This can be achieved by virtually hailing a ride from the TNC business using the app or website. Using a traditional taxi cab business, this would be achieved by hailing a taxi cab from the streets or making a phone call to book one. So this is like one person going from their home up to the point of their office or the destination. In the first one, there was one station, and from one station to the other station, you can go for the ride sharing service. But in ride hailing service, there is only one person who's going to go from one place to another. So ride hailing is the most popular service offered by the TNC, including the Zenby and Beago. These rides can be on demand or scheduled in advance. So these rides can be on demand services as well, and they might be scheduled in advance as well. Then there is a micro mobility service. So what's a micro mobility service? Micro mobility refers to a network of shared bicycles which can be rented by the customers looking for transportation options which are more active, lower priced, more environmentally friendly, and often more efficient for shorter trips during heavy traffic. So this is like, micro mobility means the most specific and the most environmental friendly service being offered, in which you can hop onto a bicycle, ride a bicycle, move from one place to another, or from one docking station to another, and just leave the bicycle over there, make the payment through the card, and move forward to your destination. So bicycles are located at fixed docking stations. Like for example, there's a docking station where you can go ride a bicycle, pay the amount of money, move towards the other docking station near your destination, park the bike, park the bicycle, pay the money, and go to your place where you want to go. So the docking station contain a terminal to release the bicycle. Customers use the TNC's platform to book and pay for the bicycle rental. On completion of the booking, customers are provided with a code to unlock the device from the docking station. The bicycle can then be returned to the docking station at the end of the hire period. Micro mobility options are often used by the customers to complete the last part of their journey, such as the bicycle from a bus or train station to a place of work. So basically, what he's trying to tell us is that the people do not use the bicycle for their entire journey. For example, if I'm going from location A to B through the ride sharing services, and if I reach location B, there is around a 10 minutes walk. So rather than going for a 10 minutes walk, there might be a docking station where I can get my bicycle, ride that bicycle to the destination where I actually wanted to go. That is the 10-minute walk can be done through this bicycle. So this is a second transport option rather than going to be a permanent transport option for the people. So this is not something that the student should make the basis of their decision on. This is just an secondary transportation service. It's like, for example, in sometimes when we fly through the airplane as well, and when we land at a specific location, so the airplane service provider, what do they do is they make us hop on a bus, and they take us to the station outside the airport, and then we can move forward. So this is the same, right? Then it says service rental customers rental. So it says description. Customers rental is a partnership agreement between the TNC and the local and national car rental business, where the customers can book a rental car through the TNC platform. The focus is on minimizing the need for the car ownership and making the car rental business and making the car rental a more viable and easy alternative for the customers. Customers can arrange a car rental normally for a period between 1 to 14 days directly through the TNC, who arrange for a driver to pick up and drop off the customer at the car rental business. The car rental business pays a commission to the TNC for each car rented booked through the TNC platform. So, for example, whenever, let's suppose if I'm going for vacations and if I'm going to another economy, and as soon as I land over there, let's suppose if I want that, okay, I want to go on for a car rental service. So, if I want to go on for a car rental services, rather than going to the car rental business and exploring different rental option, what option I have is that I can move for the TNC rental services. I can just open my app, and as soon as I open my app, I can get on the car rental services, rent my car with a driver for up to 14 days, and then I can return it back, go back to my home country. So this is how it works. Then there's a business service as well. So business services are offered by the TNC to a range of business to assist their employees to commute effectively and to travel to events and meetings. Also, businesses use TNCs to provide courtesy transport for their customers, clients. Business service solution helps the clients, businesses to reduce the cost, save time, and streamline their own ground transportation. So, business services means, for example, if the business wants to bring their directors from one place to another, or they want to have a conference at their, let's suppose, at their premises, so they can, utilize this TNC services. The TNC individuals are going to bring the people who are coming from the conference from their hotel to the office area and then dropping them back. So this is a business service also offered by the TNC. Now let's look at the TNC customers. So who are the customers of the TNC? So TNC customers uses the TNC to travel from one place to another. Just I just need to. Okay. So move. So then let's talk about the TNC's customers. So TNC customers use the TNC travel from one point to another, such as commuting to and from work, exploring the cities, and shop at the local businesses. So the TNC customers are using the services accurately. They can be customers from the working class, they can be customers from the traveling groups as well, and they can be customers from the local businesses. To become a customer, an online account must be created. It's like an Uber on the TNC website or mobile customer application. The customers must enter their personal details, name, address, and email. They must also input credit and debit card details, as all the payments to the TNC are made electronically through the TNC platform. So there is no cash dealing. We only can pay through the TNC platform. Once registered, the customers can choose from the range of services offered by the TNC. To book a ride hail and a ride share, the customers must enter the required pickup location or use a global positioning system to their phone and a destination. So you need to put in where you want to get yourself picked and where you want to get yourself dropped. You need to put in the locations. So that's simple. A price for the ride is quoted at the point of booking, which the customers must confirm and accept the ride. A notification of the ride request is then automatically sent to the TNC driver app. So once you confirm, let's suppose they say that, okay, you need to pay $50 in order to move from one destination to another. So if you say, yes, okay, I'm going to pay $50, so there will be a request sent to the driver of the TNC and he will come to pick you up. Once the driver has confirmed the acceptance of the ride, the customer's app notifies the customer of the driver's profile, the vehicle model, and the vehicle registration number, which allows the customers to check the driver detail before getting into the vehicle. So this is something similar to the Uber and Careem. The customer app tracks the arrival of the driver and in-app map so that the customers can check the progress of the driver's arrival. At the end of the ride, payment is automatically deducted from the customer's bank account. So this means once you get out of the car or once you are done with the ride, so this is going to automatically get the payment from your card. So the TNC driver, to drive a TNC, a driver must register on the TNC website or a driver app. The driver must choose the city they wish to drive in. For example, whatever city, let's suppose Birmingham or whatever city they want to choose, they can choose from the driving app. The driver must hold a full B length driving license and a private car license. authorized by the local authority of the city they wish to drive. So, as we know that in BLN there are 250 different cities, so all cities have their different rules in terms of the driving applications, in terms of the driver registration, in terms of the vehicle registration. So every single registration should be done by the drivers themselves if they want to get themselves registered with the TNC's website. The driver must also be upload a recent photo so that the customers can identify them when being picked up. The driver is not authorized to drive until all necessary background checks have been completed or verified, including the criminal record, driving offenses, the medical health check. These backgrounds check are all normally carried out by a third party expert provider. So there must be an third party expert provider who check all these background and references of the drivers, and only then the drivers get registered to this application or the platform. Once verified, a driver can accept a requested ride by clicking accept in the driving app. Most TNCs require the drivers to have a vehicle which meets the specification related to the age and condition of the vehicle. For example, there can be a law that okay, vehicle that is 10 years older or that is not registered will not be accepted as a TNC vehicle. So this can work. Must be fully insured. However, drivers do not need their own vehicle. Many TNC drivers use leased vehicle to drive their TNCs, and some TNC offer leasing facility to their drivers. So if you don't have a vehicle, it's okay. We will offer you the leasing facility as well, and you can, use these leasing facility in order to drive the car. Driver do not set their own prices. Each ride price is calculated by the TNC and is based on a standard rate fare plus a charge per kilometer. So driver cannot set their own prices. So this means that there's an element of price fixation. And I believe this is something which is important. So the companies who are working in this sector can be price taker, not the price maker. So they can't make their own prices. They can't quote their own prices. There's a fixed pricing model. Driver do not set their own prices. Each ride price is calculated by the TNC and is based on a standard rate fare plus a charge per kilometer. TNC pay each driver between 75 to 85% of the ride price for each ride completed. So the TNC is going to pay 75 to 85% of the driver of the entire price to the ride once it is completed. In the B lane, drivers working for the TNC are recognized as independent contractor. So this means that the total model is dependent upon independent contractor and not the employee. So even the taxation model will work like an independent contractor. If like, in UK, the taxation model for independent contractors is different, for employees is different, for other contractors it's totally different. And not employee of the TNC. This allows the driver to choose their own working hours. Yeah. This allows the drivers to, choose their own working hours. This flexibility attracts a wide range of drivers, including the students, retired people, and part-time workers. So many people have decided to, work in this flexible manner. The ride hailing and the ride sharing process. So how does it work? And I believe this is going to be simple, like the way you work for Uber or Careem. So a registered customer a registered customer logs on to the customer's app or website and requests a ride. So once he requests a ride, a price for the ride is quoted on the app or website, and the customer confirms the acceptance. Once he confirms, the ride request is immediately sent to the driver app. A registered driver accepts the ride via the driver app, and its app is allocated the specific ride. When the driver app accepts the ride, the customer is notified on the customer app of the driver detail and expected arrival time at the pickup location. The customer can track the driver progress using the customer app and can also view the route allocated to the requested ride. The driver arrives at the specific pickup location and checks the customer name, the destination location, the customer checks the vehicle and the driver details. So same goes for the Uber and Careem. Once the customer and the driver details have been checked, the driver pick up the customers and drives to the requested destination. When the ride is completed, a payment is automatically taken from the customer's credit or debit card. The customer is then required to complete the driver rating score as well. Now, this is how it works. Like same as Uber and Career. Now, what are the industry challenges that we are facing? So, TNC, this is the Transport Network Company, operations are subject to global economic condition. So this means that there's a direct correlation of the TNC services and the global economic conditions of the company, including the resulting impacts on spending by customers, slow economic growth, recessions, or increase in the fuel price or decrease in the customer spending power or confidence, which hinders the TNC operation, resulting in lower revenues and earning. Growth of the TNC business depends on the ability to attract and retain qualified drivers. So, the labor turnover is also one of the key challenge that the industry normally face to satisfy the required screening criteria and increase available drivers. Operating hours. If TNC do not provide drivers with flexibility and opportunities to earn sufficient income, they will fail to attract the new drivers and or retain current drivers, resulting in complaints and negative publicity. This will inevitably adversely affect the customers and business client. And urbanization increases, the car and ownership decreases. As urbanization increases and car ownership decreases, maintaining and growing the necessary pool of drivers will be a challenge. So, as more and more people are going into the urban area, although this is a positive sign, but the people who are not buying the car. So, the CNC's first requirement is that you should have your own car. So, if you are not getting the ownerships of the car, this can also become a challenge for the drivers as well. Then it says, then it says, similarly, success in the industry depends on the ability to attract the new customer, retain the existing customers, and increase their usage. So, if you ask me what are the success criteria or what are the basis of success for any company who is operating in this industry, so there are three: getting new customers, retaining the old customers, and increasing their usage. Customers have a wide range or variety of options for transportation, including their own vehicles. So, competition includes own vehicles, rental cars, taxi cab, public transport, and others. Although rental cars is something that we are also offering. I mean, the Beago is also offering. The TNC business customers preference are likely to change over time. So TNC must continually look for new ways to appeal to new customers who have historically used other form of transportation or other TNC platform. So if you want to increase the TNC customer, you need to make sure that you attract as many customers as possible, because if you're going to attract as many customers as possible, this is going to increase the total transportation for the TNC. Now, safety issues have been a very major challenge for the TNC industry. So, what are the safety issues? Illegal or improper or inappropriate activities by the customers and drivers have adversely affected the reputation of the whole industry. So, the drivers are not mannered, or let's suppose they are ill mannered, or let's suppose the drivers are not ethical. So, this is something that has adversely affected the goodwill of the company. This is something that has adversely affected the overall reputation of the whole industry. These activities have included assault, theft, unauthorized use of the debit or credit cards, or the bank account details. So these are one of the biggest challenge that this industry is facing, and this challenge need to be dealt in order to provide better services to the customer and sharing of the customers with the and sharing of the customer and driver account information. So, conduct has exposed the TNC to several high profile lawsuits. The challenges of the TNC is to implement and continually update sufficient measures to safeguard against illegal, improper activities. Without these measures, growth and retention of the customers and qualified drivers will be a continual challenge for the TNC. So getting qualified drivers, growth in this industry seems to be questionable right now because of the fact that there's some high profile scandals or high profile lawsuits on the TNC industry as well. The environmental impact of the TNC has become a major focus for the government across the world. The transportation industry is considered to be a significant contributor to air pollution. Okay, so this is also something bad because this industry has become a significant contributor to the air pollution. And the TNC activity has been cited as a cause for rising congestion and air pollution in the urban area. Several cities in BLAN are introducing technologies to manage traffic flow and congestion, which could disrupt the services offered by the TNC. Which means that this can have a negative effect on the TNC's operation because there are several alternative solutions being offered. Also, clean air zones, CAZ, are being introduced in many towns and cities to improve the air quality, and fees being imposed on all the drivers driving in those designated zones. Now, latest development, food delivery, TNC, in some countries have recently started to offer a service where customers can order their food. It's like, the Noon application, Food Panda, the many other applications, food through the dedicated app from local and national restaurants and food outlets. Orders are placed via TNC platform. The restaurant confirms the order, prepares the food, and a TNC driver picks it up, delivers the food to the selected destination. Then there is a driverless car as well. So there's a food delivery, there's a new service known as the driverless cars. Some global TNCs are currently testing their viability to driverless cars to deliver their services, but currently all such vehicles must operate with at least one supervisory person present in the vehicle. Driverless cars can navigate to the destination, avoiding obstacles without human intervention. To accomplish this, it's usually an artificial intelligence system which senses its surrounding, processes visual data to avoid collision, steers, brakes, and uses GPS to track the current location and destination. However, the driverless cars are currently being operational, but these driverless cars still currently they need one supervisory person present in the vehicle. So although that supervisory person is not actually driving the car, but there is still one supervisory because this is a new service being introduced. So I believe there's still one supervisory services person that need to supervise these cars. Then there is electric vehicle. So most TNG recognizes that now this can be a potential investment in the future. Why? Because electronic vehicle can become the most demanding element in the future. Why? Because of the rising pollution and other factors. So most TNC recognizes their potentially negative impact on the environment due to increasing mileage covered by the drivers using fossil fuel cars. Therefore, many TNCs are increasingly encouraging drivers to use the electronic vehicle for the use. Now, we need to look at the industry key performance indicator and remember these key performance indicators are the indicators that help any company to grow well in the industry. So it says that number of active customers, the number of active customers who have used the TNC app in the specified period of time. So how many customers are active in this specified period of time? This is the first thing that we need to know. Number of active drivers. This means if you do not have good number of drivers, this means that the turnover ratio is going to go worse. The number of active drivers who have been active on the TNC's platform in a specified period of time. Then ride completed, the number of rides which have been completed through the TNC's platform in a specified period of time. Revenues, the amount of money generated by the TNCs from the fare commission, fee, and the other sources. Net promoter score. Now, this is something new, although all the other three areas we already know. The customer satisfaction and loyalty rating, with higher scores indicating more satisfied and loyal customers who would be recommending the TNC service to colleagues or friend. So net promoter score means your word of mouth marketing. Your word of mouth marketing and the satisfaction level of the overall company. The driver satisfaction level with the TNC based on a range of measures, including rates of pay, safety provision, level of support offered by the TNC. Again, how many drivers are satisfied from our services. Then regulation. There are currently no overall standard to which all the TNC in the BLED should adhere in terms of operational requirement, technology, and data security, driver status, or environmental impact expectations. In some countries, drivers have set up trade unions and driver networks association, which have enabled them to gain a collective voice. Where implemented, these have been popular with the drivers, and there have been some successes and challenges. So there are some regulations that are involved in the BLIN, and these regulations are definitely going to have challenging impacts on the TNC. In has been some success in challenging the TNC through their particular country's legal system or recognizing the driver's employment right and status. So this is going to give right to the employment rights and status. This is going to have an impact on the driver's rights and the driver's statuses as well. Let's move towards the Biego's own. It says Biego's was established in Benin 12 years ago, and we know it by E.D. Foss and Kimley, two work colleagues who had previously set up and managed a business in the Benin. Developing mobile apps and other organizations for other organizations having experienced their own daily challenges in commuting and socializing in the Benin's capital city where they lived and worked, they recognized the need for more convenient and cost-effective transport option within the Benin city. The initial focus was to encourage the customers to share the ride where possible, although ride sharing and ride hailing were both available to the customers. So, the ride sharing and ride hailing were both available in the initial days of the launch. In the early days, operating with the only basic website and mobile application and only a few drivers, it was clear to Ed and Kim that demand for ride sharing and ride hailing services was high. Over the next few years, supported financially by several venture capitalist investors. So, venture capitalist investors is an investor who looks into a business model, and if he sees that this business model is very promising, he will basically do investment in such a venture that he seems that it is going to be profitable in the future. Beago grew rapidly, and by the end of 20x3, it had over 16 million active customers. This is predicted to rise to 19 million by the end of. So the demand for the customers are surprisingly on the higher side. And why not? Because customers are, working well for the demand for the customers. Then it says Beago registered and active customers. So you can see that from 2000 to 20x3, that is 2000 and 2013, in the 13 years, it has substantially grown. Similarly, number of cities where the Biegos operate since 2003 till 2013, in the 10 years or 11 years, there's a substantial growth in the number of cities in which Biego is right now operational. Ownership. Biego was listed on the BLN stock market 5 years ago. This means that currently it is not listed. It means that currently it is not listed. Why? Because it was listed 5 years ago. Okay. Then it says 80% of its shares are held by large institutional investor. Okay, just a minute. Okay, 80. 80% of its shares are held by the large institutional investors. 10% of the shares are held by the original founders, and remaining shares are held by small private investors. So the 80% shares are held by the institutional investors. Institutional investors means big giants of the economy. 10% are held by the original founders. Original founders means the actual people who have the two persons who have basically started off the business, and the remaining 10% by the other private investors. This means that this is currently a registered company because the private investors are investing in this company. Services offered by the Viego, so ride hailing and ride sharing services. It says revenue percentage. So the biggest service that, or the biggest, I would say, in terms of revenue, is ride hailing services. Then it's ride sharing services, 12%. Then it's the micro mobility services, and then it's the business services, that is 5%. So when it was first established, Viego focused primarily on shared rides. So our first focus was to promote the share ride. Okay. As the founders wanted to offer an environmentally sustainable transport solution. However, over the year, ride hailing became increasingly popular, and we can see 72% of the revenue is now through the ride hailing services. So, ride hailing is now on the top. Ride hailing has become increasingly popular with the customers who want to get from point A to B without sharing their ride with another customers. Currently, over 70% of the Biego's revenue are generated from the ride hailing services. Ride sharing is still demanded by the customers, particularly students and low income customers, but currently only generate 12%. So the entire revenue structure that we can see is now based on the revenue or the customer's preferences. Then there's a micro mobility services. When micro mobility means that the service that is connected with the bicycle riding. 5 years ago, 5 years, this is not something old, this is a new service. Biegos acquired a national micro mobility business, enabling it to offer its customer a new service of bicycle hire. This environmentally friendly transport option has proved to be very popular with the customers in the BLM. And in the last 2 years, Biegos has invested significantly in additional infrastructure to support the growing demand of this service. Currently, Biegos operate the micro mobility services over 100 cities across the BLM, and it has 9 million active users. 9 million. See, they have 9 million active users. They are right now operating in more than 100 cities all around the BLM. I don't know why I can't highlight this. Okay, so let's leave it. So they are more than operating in more than 100 cities, and there are nine different 9 million active users as well. Then the business services. 2 years ago, Biego partnered with several national organizations to transport their staff and from the workplace and meeting events, and to transport customers and clients to and from the meeting hotels and airport, train and bus station. So business services like you want your director, your employee, your managers to be picked from your workplace or from their homes to the work premises. So this is where they are offering. So technology used by the Viego. So technology is something which is important because as you know that this entire pre-scene, this entire industry is totally dependent on two different things. Number one is the services that are being offered, that is the IT related stuff. And the second thing is the people, that is the riders who are using these services. So Viego uses several different technologies to facilitate its operation. So the first thing that they use is website and mobile app. These are the forefront or the front end technologies which are used to interact with the customers and drivers. Then there's a payment processing software as well. This software system processes the automatic payment system from the customers on completion of each ride. In addition, this system processes the weekly payment made direct to the driver's bank account based on the ride completed and the percentage of the ride price earned by the driver. So it's like the payment falls into the account of the company, that is Biego, and from the Biego, the payment transfers to the rider's account in accordance with the percentage that we have committed with the driver. Then customers and driver database service. So obviously there will be a huge database from the customers and there must be a huge database from the drivers as well. So Biego database collects and manages drivers and customer data, including customer name, addresses, email, date of birth, mobile phone numbers, bank card details. So there's lots and lots of detail. So whenever we are holding the customers or the driver's detail, remember the examiner might ask you that how are you going to deal with the data? What about the big data and its technology, and how can you use the big data to make it more beneficial for their future sales? So bank credit card details needed to pay for the each ride taken, customers rides completed, start and end point, duration, time, everything is now being recorded on the customer's data. Driver name, address, driving license detail, insurance detail, car registration number, bank detail, all these details are being used. Then we have GPS software. Diego uses a sophisticated GPS software system to accurately map the position of the customers and drivers. This software can pinpoint customers when they request a ride and then pinpoint their final destination. So this is the GPS software that can figure out that, okay, this is the destination that the customers wants to start their ride with, or they want themselves to be picked up, and this is the destination where the customers are going to end their ride with. This software is also used to calculate the optimal route for the driver, and they are also going to find out the alternative routes for the drivers as to in order to reach the customers or in order to reach the destinations of the customer. Customers have access to the GPS information to give them live information about their rides, and the drivers have access to this information to locate the customer and then follow the recommended route to their final destination. Biego has a commercial agreement with the Beeline based cloud service. So obviously, if the Biego is holding this data, so they must be storing this data at some in some places. So they use the cloud-based services. This is important because cloud-based services can be a threat as well as a beneficial situation. The threat can be the data security, the data risk, the data ethics. How is this big data being held by the company, and how do we take into consideration the ethical consideration or the risk related to this big data? Diego technology platform is critical in enabling millions of ride undertaken every day, and it also provides insights in which Biego uses to develop its technology further. It uses its historical and real-time data to continuously improve the experience for the drivers and customers by analyzing the data covering the ride life cycle. From when drivers go online and customers request the ride, to when they match which routes they take and feedback given after the rides. By using the machine learning capabilities, Biego can predict future behavior based on many years of historical data to inform and enhance its service development. Biego relies significantly on technology. In fact, it's not just Biego, it is the entire industry that is relying significantly on the technology. And I'm expecting that the examiner might ask you something related to the technological factors to attract new drivers and customers through a video, social media, email, search engine optimization, keyword searches. Like, these are all marketing stuff as to how you're going to attract the drivers and the customers. Traditional promotions such as TV and radio. Beago engages with its current customers through a variety of online media, including the emails, in-app notifications, social media content. Beago's marketing message is "We go with the Beago." We go with the Beago. So they are depicting something related to the group, to the entire group of the Beago's management. Then it says Diego staff. So we have lots and lots of staff. Research and design, we have around 1127 staff. 27% are in the research and designing. Product management is 820, 16%. Data sciences and technology is like 717 number, 14% of the total staff. Customer services is 717, 14%. Legal safety staff is like 615. 12%. Sales and marketing is 512, 10%. Finance 256, 5%. Human resources 2054%. 154s are others and 3% staff. So their total number of staff is 5,123 staff. Now my point of concern is, sir, what about the riders? Riders are not the employee. This was something told to us right at the start of the session, that riders are not considered to be employee. They are self contracted employees or self-employed employees, and we do not consider riders over here in this scenario. Then it says Beago employs over 5,000 staff. So we know this, that Beago is having around 5,123 staff in total, staff in 60 different locations. So these staffs are working in 60 different locations all around Beeline. Over 50% of its staff are employed in research and design, product management, and data sciences and technology. Note, drivers are not recognized as employee, as I have already told you. Now, let's look at the senior leadership structure of Beago. So there are non-executive chairperson. Okay. So we have one chief executive officer, one chief financial officer, one chief technology, one chief commercial officer, one chief people officer. We have one marketing officer, chief marketing officer as well. Then it says extracts from the Biego's risk register. Now, whenever I see a risk register, my mind pops up, okay, there's a risk register given to us. This means that we have given with the risk being identified in the pre-scene. There might be a question in which the examiner might ask me, okay, prepare a risk mitigating register in which you have to identify the risks that are already being identified in the pre-scene and its impact, identify its impact, or identify how to mitigate this risk. So risk register is something which is very important. So let's look at the extract from the Biego's risk register. Risk category, reputation, brand, and culture. It says description: building a strong reputation and brand as a safe. Yeah. Is okay. So in the risk register, it says risk category, reputation, brand, and culture. Building a strong reputation and brand as a safe and affordable service is critical to our ability to attract and retain qualified drivers and customers. Negative perception of Biego, which may harm our reputation and the brand, include. So these are all the risks that we have right now. Now, the first risk is illegal or negligent and reckless behaviors of the driver or customers. So this is first risk. Then concerns of customers or drivers about safety. This can be your second risk. Disruption of and defect in our platform, such as privacy or data security breaches or outages which impact the reliability of our services. Failure to operate consistently with our values and mission. Failure to maintain a culture which employees value and wish to work within. So these are all the important factors. Technology infrastructure. Our business involves the collection, storage, and processing of customers' data and drivers' personal information. We also maintain confidential and sensitive information relating to our business. So there's lots and lots of data that we hold. Therefore, our systems are vulnerable to security incidents and breaches, as the technology used to obtain unauthorized access or sabotage system change frequently. We may be unable to anticipate and prevent such attack. We are also reliant on our third party cloud provider services provider to ensure that it maintains sufficient investment in the system and security reliability. So we are totally reliant on the third party security system, and being reliant on a third party security system is basically a technological infrastructural development that we need to have. Then there's a competition. Now, what about the competition? It says the TNC market is highly competitive and characterized by rapid changes in technology. We expect competition to continue, both from current competitors and new entrants in the market. We, if we are unable to anticipate or successfully react to these competitive challenges, our competitive position could weaken. We also compete with the public transport, taxi cab companies, car rental services, business, micro mobility companies, some of which have greater resources than we do. So, there's a lots and lots of competition or competitors. Competitive analysis seems to be very much prevalent over here in the Biego's scenario. Then there's also a risk relating to the licensing and the industry regulation, which is also important. It says we depend on the local authority. And as it was already stated in the starting paragraph of the pre-scene, then every city will have different rules and regulation relating to the local authority. So we depend on the local authority for each city in which we operate to grant us, our drivers, the operating license to permit our operations. If we or our drivers do not comply with the license agreement, or other transport providers put pressure on local authorities to prevent us from receiving these licenses to operate, this will severely restrict our business. Similarly, increasing regulations of the TNC is industry related to its impacts on the environment, and increased safety requirement for both the customers and the drivers is expected and will continue to increase our cost. So licensing is also one of the biggest features of BA. Now, this is something which I always tell my students, that whenever you read the vision, mission, values, you just copy these statements in your word processor. Why? Because you can't write any answer that goes contrary to your vision, contrary to your mission, or contrary to your values. If it says that we are ethical, in your answers, you need to depict that you are ethical, right? So, mission to provide communities with affordable, accessible, and sustainable transport system. Okay. Again, affordable means you can't go charge some extra amount of money. Accessible, you have to continue all your fleets. Sustainable transportation network means that you need to provide sustainability in this regard. Vision, a world where transport and technology work seamlessly to bring people, businesses, and communities together. Values, our ethical code of conduct ensure that we maintain our focus on operating to the highest ethical and professional standard. Our focus is on the safety of our customers, drivers, and communities with whom we work. Committed to safety. We value the safety of our customers and drivers. To protect them, we implement a range of safety features. So, what are the safety features? Again, these safety features are the features that are going to help you to reduce our risk to an acceptable level as well. So, annual background check on every drivers are carried out by a third party expert. Number one. Sorry. Continuous criminal monitoring means sorry, drivers continuous criminal monitoring means drivers with disqualifying criminal convictions are removed from the platform immediately. So, if any driver is found to have any criminal convictions, he will be removed from detail. Drivers must complete their safety program annually. which includes how to create a safe and comfortable ride, appropriate conversions, topic, and respecting personal boundaries. If a customer or a driver feels uncomfortable or need emergency assistance at any point of time, they can instantly connect with the security team through an in-app help button 24/7. Customers have access to a friend and family notification system, which can notify designated customers' contact of the details of the ride in progress. So you can share the live ride through the Google Map or the maps to your friends and family. Most of our driver vehicles have been equipped with cameras to record the rides to protect both customers and drivers. Data privacy and storage and usage of our customer data is our top priority. All customers' contract details, rights, and payment information are considered classified data, and we fully comply with all the BLN's legislation in terms of data privacy, storage, and usage. We also expect our cloud service provider to operate in the same standard in terms of protecting and managing our customers' personal data. So everything seems to be so professional and so perfect over here. At the end of each ride, drivers and customers must rate their ride. Any customer or driver who submit a rating below 80% satisfaction is prompted to provide more details. So when you say 70%, there will be a detailed section that is mandatory for you to fill so that we can identify what went wrong, committed to the environment. It says the primary concern of government and the communities we serve is the level of harmful emission in the Beelan's town and cities. We are aware that our business is a contributor of these emissions. Therefore, we are committed to reducing our impact in several ways. We encourage the customers to select shared rides and micro-mobility options wherever possible. So their encouragement is that you should use the shared ride option wherever possible. We continue to invest further in micro-mobility infrastructure, that is bicycle options more and more. We have launched an in-app feature for the customers to be able to request ride in electric or hybrid vehicle instead of fossil fueled vehicle. We do not own the vehicle used by our drivers. We will continue to find ways to incentivize more drivers to use more environmentally sustainable vehicles. So we need to focus on environmental sustainability, such as assisting our drivers in making contracts with the electric vehicle car rental businesses, maybe helping to provide more leasing options to those individuals who go on for the car rental, who go on for the electronic vehicles. Now, Biego's KPI. If we look at the revenues, you can see that in 20x3, that is the current year, the revenue has substantially increased. The total number of active customers are also increasing. Ride completed are also good in millions. Percentage of revenue per share, if you see, the highest share that we are getting is the ride hailing share, then ride sharing, then micro mobility, and last but not the least, the business services shares are also given to us. Net promoter score, if you look at the net promoter score, our score is way better than the industry averages. Okay, okay, so net promoter score is, I believe it's way better than the industry averages, and driver satisfaction ratio is also on a prominent, sorry, it's on the lower side. The driver satisfaction ratio is decreasing, which is a point of concern for the company. Okay, so let's move forward with the other area other than the pre-scene. We have gone through the pre-scene. Now let's study the case study requirement. So it says the case study relates to the three different tasks. Obviously, there are now every question that you see in the SBL examination, you will get these three tasks. So the first thing is that the Biego is a transport network company based in Beeland. You are a senior business analyst. So now whenever I start my question, I need to figure out four different things. Who we are, whom we are reporting to, which professional format is being tested and which professional skill is being tested. So it says that Beago is a transport network company based in the Berlin. You are a senior business analyst working in the finance department of Beago, reporting directly to the chief financial officer. You are also often asked to carry out the task of the other board members and the senior managers. So you are reporting directly to the CFO majorly, but you also have to work for the other board of directors. And remember, you are an internal person. You are a senior business analyst in this entire case study. It is currently September 20. Following exhibits are available on the left-hand side of your screen, provide information relevant to the case study. Portfolio information and analysis of the company's current service portfolio preferred by the Biego's prepared by the Biego's marketing department. Proposal for the food delivery services, an outline proposal by the chief commercial officer for a new food delivery services. So there is a proposal given to us. A news blog highlighting a recent cyber attack on the cloud service provided by the BLN. So there's a recent cyber attack and there's a news about it, and we need to take into consideration about the news as well. Email from the CFO, a forwarded email from the CFO about the chief executive officer's concern regarding the impact of disruptive technology in the industries. The pre-scene that you have already familiarized yourself with the Biego and the industry in which it operates is also available on the left-hand side of the screen. This information should be used to answer the task within your chosen response option. So this is the information given to us. Now I'll first move towards the task requirement. I'll read the task requirement in the exam first, and then I will move towards the exhibits. So Biego's board of directors is about to meet to discuss its current service portfolio and how it should be managed. In advance of the meeting, the chief marketing officer has sent the members of the board the current service portfolio information. So this is the current service portfolio information provided compiled by the marketing department to assist discussions. The chief finance officer has asked for your assistance in preparing for the board meeting. Prepare a report for the CFO which assesses the Biego's current service portfolio to determine appropriate strategies to manage the portfolio effectively. Now, what is actually he is basically asking? This is like a project management approach. It says prepare a report for the CFO. So you have to prepare for the CFO. This means whom we are communicating to. We are communicating to the CFO, which assesses. So we need to assess something. Biego's current service portfolio. We need to assess current service portfolio, not the future one, to determine appropriate strategy to manage the portfolio effectively. So there are some issues in the current service portfolio, and we need to address the current service portfolio to determine how these current service portfolio can be managed in a manner that they work effectively. And it's a big question of 20 marks. Professional marks are available for demonstrating analysis skills and considering and reflecting on the information provided by the marketing department to identify how Biego could manage its service portfolio effectively. They are talking about current service portfolio. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first copy the entire requirement. I'm going to first copy the entire requirement and I will place it in my word processor so that this is going to help me out in formulating my answer when I'm going to start writing the answer. So I'm just moving towards task number 2. I'm done with the copy pasting of the first task requirement as well. The Chief Finance Officer recently received a proposal by the Chief Commercial Officer for the Biego to operate a food delivery services throughout the Benin. So there is a new food delivery services. This hint was also given to us in my pre-scene that there is a new food delivery services that we would want to incorporate. This is due to be discussed at the next board meeting. The CFO believes that the board will be concerned with not only the financial impact of this proposal, but also how it creates value over time for all the stakeholders. So this means that whenever you are writing the answer, you should not only write with the perspective of financial concerns, but you should also write with the perspective of non-financial concerns. So I would rather say a 360-degree view of the company. This means that you might be asked regarding the commercial acumen of in this question. In preparation for the board's meeting, she has asked for your assistance in considering how the proposal would create value in relation to six capital. Okay, so now this is something related to the integrated reporting. Now this is something related to the integrated reporting in Biego's annual integrated reporting. So you have to use six capital as your headings, and you will evaluate in this six capital how this food delivery services is going to facilitate different stakeholders. Prepare a report for the CFO. So whom are we communicating to? We are communicating to the CFO of the company. And who we are the chief business analyst, which evaluates how the value created from the food delivery proposal would be reported in the six capital. So I'm talking about manufactured capital, I'm talking about intellectual capital, I'm talking about financial capital, and the other three capitals in the Biego's integrated reporting. So it's about 618 marks, and they are asking for commercial acumen. That was very obvious because they have already stated that you just don't need to write it in the financial terms, you also need to consider the non-financial terms, which means commercial acumen skills should have been tested. So this entire question is of uh, it says that the CFO, the professional marks are available for commercial acumen, so you need to add up acumen skills over here. The CFO intend to advise the board that should the proposal be implemented, it must set a range of appropriate non-financial performance indicators to monitor and evaluate the performance of the food delivery services, particularly in the first year of operation. So they are not talking about financial indicators, they are talking about non-financial indicators. She has asked you to include this as an appendix of the report referred to the above. Prepare an appendix of the report. Appendix of the report means with the headings. Report to the CFO. So, whom we are writing this to the CFO of the company, and with reason, four non-financial key performance indicators which could be used to monitor and evaluate the performance of the proposed delivery services in the first year of operation. So, there should be only four headings as to what you think are the most appropriate areas. Professional marks are available for demonstrating communication skills in clarifying the recommended KPIs in an appropriate tone to the CFO of the company. So I'm going to again use the copy pasting of the requirement first. I'm going to copy this entire requirement. I'll open my word processor, and I'm going to paste this entire requirement over here. It will hardly take me seconds to do this. Then I'm moving towards my task number 3, which is the last task, and I believe the highest in the marks. A recent cyber attack on the cloud service provider impacted many business in the BLAN, although Biego was not one of them affected. So this is something important, that the cyber attack was not actually on our company. And if it was not actually on our company this time, the second time it can be our company as well. However, the chief financial officer has asked to the chair a meeting with some of the Biego's main investors to discuss the situation. Some investors are concerned that they have limited understanding of cloud technology and how the risk of using the cloud services provider used should be managed by the CFO. The CFO has asked for your assistance in preparing some of the information she will present in this meeting. Prepare two presentation slides. Whenever I talk about presentation slide, the thing that comes into my mind is that there will be a slide in which I will be writing the pointers, and the explanation to that pointers are going to be taken to the notes section of the presentation slide. So it says that prepare two presentation slide with accompanying notes which assesses the benefits and risks of Beago using cloud computing. So the first benefit slide should be for the benefits of cloud computing. The second slide should be the risk related to the cloud computing model. Professional marks are available for demonstration of evaluation skills in objectively appraising the benefit and the risk of Beago of using cloud technology. The CFO has emailed you with the information attached from a forwarded email from the Chief Executive Officer regarding a conference he attended on disruptive technology. He has asked for your thoughts on these disruptive technology. Draft an email response to the CFO which evaluates the extent to which the disruptive technology highlighted by the CEO could impact BAO. So now he is concerned that how the extent to which the disruptive technology could have an impact on the company. Professional marks are available for demonstrating the skepticism skill in questioning in an appropriate manner the opinion of the CEO that the disruptive technology would negatively impact Viego. So the CEO have given us an opinion in which he says that the disruptive technology can have a negative impact on Viego, can have a negative impact on Viego. So we need to cut it down. We need to question the assumptions that why is it the case that you think that it is going to give us a negative impact on the Viego and its services. So now the same pattern will be followed. I'm going to copy paste the entire set of requirements. I'll copy and I'll use the word processor for my third question. I'll paste it down. It will hardly take me few seconds to do this specific exercise. Okay, so now I'm going to read the exhibits. And once I start reading the exhibits, then I will be in a position to identify each related question. So I'm moving towards my task number one and I'm opening the exhibits over here. It says that the first exhibit relates to the portfolio information. So portfolio information means that the information related to the current services that we are offering. Remember that the requirement of the task number one was how to effectively manage this portfolio. So firstly, we have the ride sharing services. Currently, only one in 20 of our rights is shared by the customer. This means that it's not something very good because we know this well that the top revenue is not ride sharing, it is the ride hailing. Shared rides are often the foundation of our business, but the foundation of our business concept as an environmentally sustainable transport solution. However, the ride sharing services has not been popular as our ride hailing services in the recent year. The market growth rate is 6% per annum. So I need to figure it out. Okay. And this is all what I'm going to do during my reading time, right? So the market growth rate is just 6% in this ride sharing services. Then competition. So D is the main ride sharing company in the B lane and focuses exclusively on the ride sharing market. Its focus is environmental sustainability and has been very popular with the customers aged 18 to 24 and retired customers over the age of 65. Zenbi still offer ride sharing services as a service, but like Biego, it has become less popular compared to the ride hailing. Current market shares are D 38%, ZB 30%, Biego 20%, others 12%. So we are on the third number when it comes to the ride sharing services. Let's look at the ride hailing. Ride hailing continues to grow in popularity in BNet. Customers in the urban areas are increasingly moving towards non-owned transport options to access works and leisure activity. The urban population is set to see increase over 10% in the next 6 years. So market growth rate is 11% per annum, which is a very good growth rate, and this has always been a very prominent service from our side. Zendi is the longest established and largest competitors in the ride hailing in the BDM. However, Biego has grown significantly in the years and has won significant proportion of the Beelin's ride-hailing market. Current market share are ZenB 50%, Beago 35%, and others 15%. Now, this is about micro mobility scooters. We know it well that the micro mobility scooters are just a secondary option, not a primary option for major customers. So it says micro mobility is increasing rapidly in popularity, driven by the increasing focus on sustainable transportation solution. So remember, this is a very sustainable transportation solution as it will have 0% carbon emission. It is increasingly popular with the younger customers under 24. Biego has invested significantly in the micro-mobility infrastructure in the last few years. Whenever I talk about micro-mobility infrastructure, from the pre-scene, I must think that this is something that relates to the docking sites or the parking stations. Okay, so now let's move towards the micro mobility. It says that the market growth rate is 14% per annum. However, the growth rate is good and it's the best till now in accordance with the three services that we have recently seen. Biego is the market leader in the micro mobility market. No other TNC has invested as heavily, and the market is relatively new compared to the ride hailing and ride sharing services. Current market share is Diego 62%, W 22%, and others 16%. Business services, there have been a rapid growth in the demand for the business transport solutions. Corporate transportation's cost have been rising, and many businesses are looking to alternative transportation solutions for the staff and customers which are sustainable and cost effective. The market growth rate are 15%. There's a superb growth in the business services. The business service market is currently quite fragmented, which means that there are many people who have taken over this market. There are many business solutions available in many competitors in this market, offering a wide range of business transportation solutions. Depart is a dedicated TNC. Depart is a dedicated TNC provider of the business service transportation solution and offers only limited transport services to the non-business customer. Current market share is 20% Depart, Biego 12%, and others 68%. So portfolio can be well managed in the future. Now let's look at the proposal for the delivery food vehicle, and we need to look at why is this proposal a good one or a bad one. So Biego Bites food delivery proposal. It says proposals overview. Biego Bite will be an on-demand food delivery service operating in all major cities in the Beeline. A specifically designed Biego Bites mobile app will allow the users to order food from restaurants and other food outlets which are signed up to the Biego Bites app. Orders will be placed through the app and deliveries delivered to the customer's location of choice. The app will allow the users to browse menus, place orders, and track their delivery in real time. We will partner with a wide range of local and national restaurants and food outlets across the Beeline to offer the customers a wide choice of food which is delivered to their homes quickly and efficiently. Business propositions. Food delivery services have enjoyed significant global growth over the past 5 years. Research shows significant growth potential in the food delivery market in the Beeline in the next decade. Once an order is placed on the app, it is directed to the selected restaurant food outlet who will confirm the order, prepare the food, and the Biego driver will be notified to pick up the order and deliver it to the requested destination. Revenues will be generated from commission charged to each restaurant food outlet registered on the app and from our normal driver delivery fees as well. Investment need. A Biego Bites business unit will be set up to manage the new divisions. This will be housed in a newly built state-of-the-art head office facility in the Beeline's capital city. So you need to have investment in the head office as well, in making the head office as well. A new Biego Bites application will be developed. Over 300 new employees across all of the major business function will be employed in the new business division. Significant marketing expenditures is anticipated for the pre-launch. Estimated 350 million long-term loan is required to finance the proposal. This is something very, very important because we are thinking to go on for finance option, and this finance option will definitely have an interest impact on us. Proposal aim and long-term outcome. Bring communities together through facilitating the connection of restaurants and our food outlet with the customers. Create new drivers opportunity. We will be encouraging food delivery drivers to use our micro mobility options free of charge to deliver the food orders in a more sustainable. So the proposal is that we are going to use our current service and we will ask the drivers to use this service free of cost to deliver the food. So this means that the micro mobility investment is now going to be a secondary option in order to facilitate a new service, that is the food delivery. Establish new relationship with the local businesses as well. Increase data availability of the analytical staff will be analyzing the routes and the customers and driver behavior in relation to the new services, anticipated to increase the current revenue by 8%. So we think that the revenue increase will be 8%. The current revenue will increase by 8 big percentage. It's a huge percentage. So we believe that this can also be a substantial investment and may be fruitful in the future. So Beeline time tech block. It says how secure are cloud-based system. Cyber attack affects hundreds of the Beeline's business. Cloud computing is a delivery of computing services, including servers, storages, database, networking softwares, and analytics, intelligence over the internet, the cloud. The latest international cyber attack, which occurred last week, was aided by the access to such cloud computing system. The attackers were able to access millions of the cloud accounts and corrupt and steal the files and personal information for more than 100 large companies and government departments throughout the BLN. And basically, we are safe from this. This was not the first cloud service cyber attack, and it certainly will not be the last one. Cloud system weakness were also to blame for the last year's breach at CISPA, the BLN's second largest bank. In this case, a cloud system weakness led to the corruption of millions of the customers' record, including their bank account information as well. These attacks on the cloud service providers by the criminal hackers are increasing as cloud computing has become more popular worldwide. As the predominant model for information system management, cloud is increasingly the default mode of computing for many billions business, meaning ever more users and critical data rely on these systems. Therefore, cloud computing is an important source of risk because it has quickly replaced traditional IT storage system, and importantly, because it has concentrated ownership of cloud system design, management, and control within a very small number of cloud service provider business in the BLN. One might assume that the competition between cloud service provider business would incentivize with them to invest in security measures. However, security is not a prime priority for these business because the losses of the data breaches are largely borne by the customer. So they are least concerned about the security. As long as the cloud service provider is not losing significant customer number, which research indicates does not usually happen after a security incident, there is seemingly limited incentive to invest significantly in additional security. In addition, research indicates that the cloud service provider do not face any consequences from the investors, so share price decline after a cloud service breach are often both small and temporary. So even if there's a share price decline, so cloud service provider are least concerned about the security risk because they don't think so that this is going to have an impact on their business revenues or on their business model. So they believe that it's okay, it's perfectly fine if we don't invest any heavy amount of investment in making our cloud data more secure. So now we are reading an email from the CFO, email from the CFO to the chief business analyst. This is the forwarded email. Date subject is disruptive technology. The CEO has just emailed me about the conference he attended yesterday, which focused on the impact of the disruptive technology on the industry. He is concerned that these disruptive technology will have a negative impact on Viego in the coming year. I have forwarded his comment below. I would like your thoughts on this as well. So, forwarded message. Two of the disruptive technology which I'm most concerned about are driverless autonomous vehicle, although not used by us. Some TNC in other countries are testing autonomous vehicle in certain cities around the world. There is still some way away from being fully operational, but it is likely to be on a growing internet in the coming years and will be actively adapted by some of our competitors in the B land as well. My concerns are the first autonomous vehicle technology is going to be very expensive, and second, it could result in significant lawsuits if the technology goes wrong and cause accidents, as it has happened in the recent test operated by the overseas TNC. Personally, I cannot see the point of eliminating human drivers from our services. So, these are the negative comments presented by the CEO of the company. And I believe we were told to evaluate these negative comments. So we will look into this. Then, Internet of Things, very important one. The Internet of Things represent an expansion of the Internet to include physical devices and objects which once connected to the Internet of Things can generate data for the users who are able to control those devices and objects through an internet connection. Local authorities are using sensors in traffic signals to understand traffic flows and can then remotely and instantly change the traffic signals to direct and control traffic within the business areas. Although this help ease traffic congestion, it could mean that our own route planning system, which are used to work out optimum routes for the customers and drivers, could be severely disruptive by the system. If we need to reroute the journey, this would likely be add additional miles and cost onto our customers and increasing inconvenience. Another example of IoT application is the introduction of the camera and read vehicle registration number in designed clean air zones. CAZ, that is clean air zones, are areas in the city where measures have been introduced to improve the air quality. Where a vehicle drives within a CAZ, the driver is automatically charged a fee. Many cities across the BLN are proposing to implement these in the next 3 years. This technology will impact significantly on our drivers who may be discouraged from driving for us within the city centers, as they will be charged each time they enter a designated from driving for us within city centers, as they will be charged each time with they will be charged each time they enter a designated CAZ, which could be a significant number of times daily. Only drivers with electronic vehicle will be exempted from the charge. This means that they are trying to increase the number of electronic vehicle drivers from the business and into the business, and this is a very positive impact. So this means investment. There were a couple of examples of the disruptive technology that we have already started to impact on our business. I believe that these are quite worrying development for our whole set of industries. So, you know, now the question says that the Biego board, and just this on the top. Okay, so now the question says that Biego board of directors is about to meet to discuss its current service portfolio um, and how it should be managed in advance of the meeting. The Chief Marketing Officer, CMO, has sent the members of the board the current service portfolio information compiled for by the marketing department to assist a discussion. The chief finance officer has asked you for your assistance in preparing the for the next board meeting. So we need to prepare something for the board meeting. What do we need to prepare? Prepare a report to the CFO. So okay, so we need to prepare the report to the CFO. Again, the format for the report is, I'm just going to write down the pointers over here. So the format for the report is just a bit. Okay, so in task number one, although I can't write it on the, I don't know why this word response is hanging. It's not allowing me to write my answers. So I'm going to use Word format for in order to write this. So it says that Beago Board of Directors is about to meet to discuss the current service portfolio. So we need to keep this service portfolio opened in front of us so that we can, write our answers. And I've just kept the service portfolio on the right side and the answer on the left side. So it says that Biego's board of directors is about to meet to discuss its current service portfolios and how it should be managed in advance of the meeting. To for The chief marketing officer has sent the members of the board the current service portfolio information compiled by the marketing department to assist discussions. The chief finance officer has asked for your assistance in preparing for this board meeting. So prepare a report for the CFO which assesses Biego's current service portfolio to determine appropriate strategies to manage the portfolios effectively. So we need to talk about the current service portfolio, and we need to identify how can we manage these services more appropriately in the near future. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my Word format, and as you know that we have to prepare the report. So I'm just writing the hearing of report. So in report we write to. So obviously we are writing to the CEO of the CFO of the company, and we are writing. We are actually the senior business uh, analyst. If you can just please close your mic because there's a voice coming. Senior business analyst, and we will write subject. So in subject, what do we need to do is we just need to, what I'm going to do is prepare a report for the CFO which assesses the current portfolio. So I'm just going to pick it from here. Assessment of Biego's current service portfolio. This is going to be my subject line. This is just going to be my subject line. Assessment of Biego's current portfolio management. So assessment of Beago current portfolio management. So, firstly, I'm going to start with the introduction. And in introduction, you will say that we are going to assess the portfolio management of the Beago, so on and so forth. So you are going to write down the introduction. Now, after introduction, I will pick service one service, and then I'll start writing about the first service. Then I'll move to the second service. Then I'll start writing about the second service. Remember, in your answer, you need to assess the current services, and you need to determine the appropriate strategy as to how these services can be managed effectively. So it says currently only 1 out of 20 of our rights are being shared by the customers. So this means this is how am I going to write. So my first service is ride sharing. And in the ride sharing, I will write down some of the pointers. Now in the ride sharing, it says that currently only 1 out of 20 people are using this service. So I would rather say that the ride sharing services is showing low market penetration. So it's currently showing us some lower side of market penetration, I believe. And because of the fact that it is showing low market penetration, it is showing low market penetration. Okay, so currently there is low market penetration being shown. Now I need to assess the major competitor of this market as well. So the major competitor of this market is Dell. Delay, I must say it's Delay. So the major market is Delay. So the major market competitor is with the name of Dale or Delay. And he focus most on environmental sustainability. He focus most on the environmental sustainability, and we know that the market growth rate is 6%, as it was already told to us. Now, the point of concern is how. I mean, you're not going to write how, but I'm just writing for your help. So how can we manage this effectively? Now, my point of concern is that how can we manage it effectively? The previous pointers that I made was only regarding an assessment of the assessment of the services. Now, how can we manage this effectively? So, Viego need to come up with a differentiation strategy. So Viego need to come up with a differentiation strategy to attract the larger market share, maybe including targeted marketing to specific eco-conscious consumers. Targeting specific eco-conscious consumers and communicating environmental benefits. So this is how the first service can be dealt with. Firstly, we analyze the services and then we gave a suggestion as to how can you effectively manage. Now, if I move towards the second service, this is the ride hailing service. The ride hailing service is my second one, so I'm going to start writing regarding the ride hailing service. So, ride hailing service. So in ride hailing services, I'm going to first do an assessment of the ride hailing services. We know it well that the ride hailing services is one of the most prominent revenue generating service for us. So continues to grow in popularity. Customers in the urban areas are increasingly moving towards non-owned transport options to access this service. The urban population is set to increase over the next 10 years, or the 10% of the next 6 years. So now the ride-hailing service is a very prominent service for all of us. So let's see. Now in the ride-hailing service, this is the major re- revenue generating service. So this is the major revenue generating services for the company. Obviously, among all the services, the company faces stiff competition majorly from the D company. Um, the Sorry, not the D company. This is going to be, yeah. This is not D company, so they are facing competition from Zenbi company, and the market share. There is the annual growth is 10%, which is a good growth in the market. Um, there is substantial room to capture more market share. Now, my point of concern is that how are we going to manage this service more effectively as asked in the question. So how do we manage the service more effectively? So we'll say Biego should take of its market penetration strategy first, and should consider innovation in this service. So you should consider innovation in this service um, by offering more lucrative to the market. So now ride sharing, we are done with the ride sharing, we are done with the ride hailing. Then there is another service with the name of micro mobility, and this was one of the most prominent service of the company. The micro mobility is increasing rapidly in popularity, driven by the increasing focus on sustainable transportation. It is increasingly popular with the younger customers, obviously the people who would like to or love to bicycle. Biego has invested significantly in the micro-mobility infrastructure in the last few years. The market growth rate is very much prominent, that is around 14%. Biego is the leader in this market, and no other TNC has invested such huge amount of money as Biego has already done. So this is something which is, it's an important parameter for all of us. Then after ride-hailing services, let's move towards the third service, that is micro mobility service given to us. So micro mobility. So when I talk about micro mobility assessment, we can see that we always start with the positive thing. Biego is the market leader first. And the second thing is that Biego has invested heavily in the micro mobility. So Biego is the market leader in this specific segment, and Biego has done significant investment in this service infrastructure development. Beaver has done significant investment in the infrastructural development. The market is popularity young individuals are the active users of the market. So young individuals are the active users of this specific service, as it has already been notified to us. Now, how do we manage this service more effectively? So how do we manage this service effectively? Now, this is the point of stance on for our side. Diego should maintain its leadership in this service, as this is the start for Diego. As this is the star service, although I'm not using the BCG model directly, but I can indirectly use some of the words for the BCG model, as it is one of the star service for the Biego. So you can maintain the market leadership by heavily investing in this service. So you should heavily invest in this service. You should do more investment in this service. The proactive will more market share. So, the proactive approach, this is going to have investment. This proactive approach will have more of the market share for Biego. Now let's move towards the last service that we have in our question given to us. So the last service is the business services. This is the highest, revenue growth service, so, or the market growth service. So this has been a rapid growth in the demand for the business transport solution. Corporate transportation costs have been rising, and many businesses are looking for alternative transport solutions for the staff and the customers, which are sustainable and cost effective. D part is the biggest threat for us. Biego is on the second number. Market growth rate is 15%. So we will pick up all this information and we will use this accordingly. So now the service that we are going to talk about is the business service. So the business service, so firstly, let's have an analysis of the business services as well. So they say that the business service, the market is fragmented. Number one, the market is fragmented. This means numerous number of customers, numerous numbers of competitors. market growth is 15%. B part is the biggest growth. Now, my point of concern is how can we manage this service effectively? How can we manage this service effectively? The growth rate is good in this service, and the point of concern right now is that how can we manage this service more effectively? So, my suggestion of managing this service more effectively would be um, now Viego should think of providing customized solutions to their customer as it concentrate the niche market. So Biego should provide customized solutions to their customers and existing corporates word of mouth marketing will bring up drumming sales. Existing word of mouth marketing will bring up the drumming sales. So after this, I made a heading by stating that the portfolio optimization. So how do we optimize the portfolio? So the portfolio optimization will work in this manner. For example, and now I'm going to give solutions. Let's suppose my first solution is going to be prioritize the high growth segment. So I'm going to say that prioritize the high growth segment, like the segment which have a growth rate of 14 or 15%. We are going to prioritize those segments that have the highest growth rate, right? Those segments that have the highest growth rate, I'm going to prioritize those segments. This is going to be my first point of solution. The second point of solution is now you need to write it in paragraphs that okay, prioritize the high growth segment and maybe enhance ride sharing service. So you need to enhance the ride sharing services as well, as to how the ride sharing services is basically working, how to target the marketing strategies, maybe to appeal the environmentally conscious consumers and maintain the leadership in micro mobility. So this is something that we are applying the BCG matrix indirectly, not the direct option, right? So we are applying the BCG matrix indirectly, not directly, but this is how we will move towards maintaining the leadership in the micro mobility as well. I hope so. I'm audible. Am I audible? Yes. Okay. And the fourth point is the fourth point of concern is maybe capitalize on the business services. So these are the suggestion of optimizing the portfolio that are given. Okay. So let's move towards the now this is how you're going to write your first question. Let's move towards the question number two. In we have gone through the task number one. It's of 24 marks, so well, good 24 marks we have gained. Now I'm moving towards my requirement number two. That is given in the task number two. We will first do. It says that the chief finance officer recently received a proposal by the chief commercial officer for Biego to operate a food delivery service throughout the BLN. This is due to be discussed in the next board meeting. The CFO believes that the board will be concerned with not only the financial impact of the proposal, but also how we can create value over the time for all the stakeholders. In preparation for the board meeting, she has asked for your assistance in considering how the proposal would create value in relation to the six capital. So, in relation to the six capital. So we need to evaluate this with the help of the six capital. We need to start off with the report format. The professional marks are available for demonstrating the um, Professional marks are available for demonstrating the commercial acumen skill. I'm reading the requirement once again. Prepare a report for the CFO which evaluates how the value created from the food delivery proposal would be reported in the six capital of the Biego's integrated report. So I'm going to open the proposal so that I have a clarity of what actually is being asked in this question, and I will keep my word processor over here. Professional marks are available for demonstrating the commercial acumen skills. So I need to prepare the report. Now, in the report, the scenario says to, I'm going to write it to the CFO of the company from, so I am a senior business analyst. I'm just using short forms. You can't use short forms, remember. Subject, the subject line should be from the scenario that we are being asked. So we are going to prepare a report that evaluates the how the values created from the food proposal would be reported in the six capital of Biego's integrated report. So I'm just going to change the subject line a little bit, and my subject line will become perfect. So I'm going to write in the subject line evaluation of how the value created from the fruit delivery proposal would be reported in the sixth capital of the Biego's integrated report. A very basic subject line, a very specific subject line that we can use out over here. So this is the subject line that we are given with. Now what we are going to do is I'm going to first have an introductory paragraph. In this introduction, I'm going to give an overview on the importance of integrated reporting as to how the integrated reporting is connected to the company, what actually is integrated reporting, maybe how integrated reporting can help BAU. So I'm just skipping the introduction. You can see the introduction in my detailed answer. I'm going to start directly with the six capital. So the first capital that I'm picking is the financial capital. The second capital is going to be the manufactured capital.
Other one is research and development, right?
Yeah. So the third capital will be the intellectual capital. I'm going to write what pointers are we going to write in in these capitals. I'm just first naming them. Human capital. Then we have social capital. I would rather call it as social and relationship capital. The sixth capital that we'll talk about is the natural capital. And the last but not the least is conclusion. So these are the six capital that we are going to talk about. Now, in the first capital is the financial capital, and our point of concern is that how the food delivery proposal would be reported in the sixth capital of the Biego's integrated reporting. So, in terms of the financial capital, we know that we will be taking the help of external financing, that is the debt financing when we are going for the financial capital. So we will write something regarding the debt financing. We will tell the people, we will tell the stakeholders, we will tell the shareholder community that there is the external funding being used. Now I'm talking about the financial capital. This new service has a potential of generating more revenue for the company. So this new service has the potential of generating more revenue from the company. Revenue charge will be from restaurant commission and delivery fee from customers. So revenue charge will be from the restaurant commission and the delivery fee from the customer. This will enhance our IT sector as well, as we will be investing in the IT related services as well as human resources. So we will be investing in the IT related services as well as the human resources. However, there is a potential investment to be done. The is from debt financing, which means interest. Company need to critically evaluate the ROI to understand if it is above the the company need to critically evaluate the ROI. The success of this will be only on the cost management. The success will only be on the cost management and optimizing the goods for more and more customers, and optimizing the routes for the customers which will definitely create opportunities for us. We can analyze the existing customer data and perform marketing. This will cross selling. So this will integrate cross selling for us as well. So these are the pointers. Obviously, these are the we need to explain them more, but these are the pointers that I can think of when I'm writing the financial capital. However, what about the manufactured capital? Obviously, financial capital is going to be one of the biggest one because of the fact that financial capital relates to the investment and the returns. Um, Now, manufactured capital means Diego need to create another capital by investing in the infrastructure. Diego is going to create another capital by investing in the infrastructure, primarily in the form of manufactured uh, capital that is tech-based infrastructure. So we will invest in the tech-based infrastructure of the company. This include user mobile apps. This includes the user-friendly mobile apps to customers, order management and delivery services. Then the company will also need to hire fleet of delivery riders as well. So this is also a structural infrastructure or structural manufacturing cost. Logistic and godowns will also need investment. Plus, this is not just one-time investment, but recurring one as it need continuous upgradations. So this is what I believe is going to be part of the manufactured capital because it's a service provider. So we cannot write something related to the factory or maybe the production outlets, but we will be writing something regarding the tech-based infrastructure. Now, the the intellectual capital is one of the best and the most prominent one that we can initially write. Biego bytes. Remember, we need to connect the scenario with the company name and the company products. So writing Biego bytes name is going to be a positive impact in our answer. So Biego bytes is definitely an contribution towards the intellectual capital development. So it's definitely a contribution towards the intellectual capital development. This will just one minute. This will contribution towards the intellectual capital development. This will generate software for the company that will not only be used in the current service, but will also be bridging stone in future structural development. Right. So this is also going to be a bridging stone in the future infrastructural development. This capital will also require the company to invest in learning and development. So this capital will also help to in the learning and development, um, research and will be one of the most prominent feature of this investment. So this is what we are going to write in the uh, intellectual capital. Now let's talk about the human capital as well. Diego bytes will generate employment for many new uh, delivery as well as other related jobs. Hiring 300 new human assets is one of the biggest hirings that we are going to do. Hiring 300 new human assets or investment in the human capital. Then company will also hire tech-based people who will also facilitate in other services. So they will also facilitate in the other related services. This contribution will uphold the GDP of the economy. So this is going to uphold the GDP of the economy as well. However, the company also need to make sure that the health, safety, and data compliance are all well shown. So this is how we are going to write the human capital. Now let's talk about the social and related capital. So social and related capital, Beago bytes is development to connect all strands and their owners. This is how Beago bytes will be virtually connected to the virtually connected to the local communities and local communities. This will support local this will enhance their growth. This will enhance their growth. Some social and environmental issues will also be raised and dealt by both Diego Bites and the restaurant that will uphold our image. So some social responsibility will also be doing this. Diego Bites might also participate in community-based events that will help to enhance the that will help to enhance the sustainable practices. So these are all the pointers that I'm going to write in this social and relationship capital. Now, if I'm moving towards the natural capital, this is going to be my last capital and then ultimately the conclusion. So the natural capital So the impact can be in several ways. Now, how? Because we know that they are saying that we will be using the mobility and encouraging the people to use, or delivery drivers to use, mobility scooters, which is basically the bicycles. So that will help us a lot. And apart from the bicycles, the EV vehicle should be encouraged to use for the delivery route by promoting EV delivery routes. So on the delivery routes, we'll be using the EV vehicle. Beago will reduce carbon emission. Obviously, the Beago is going to reduce the carbon emission, will have positive environmental footprints. This will have a very positive environmental footprints from the Beago. Beago can provide this information to stakeholders, will facilitate the environmental to use behavioral more frequently. So this is what you can write in the environmental, in the natural capital. After doing the natural capital, I'm going to conclude this by maybe stating that the Biego Bytes food delivery proposal, when viewed through the lens of integrated reporting. Now, this is a line that you can use whenever you say in terms of any single model. Like, for example, when used in terms of, we can say that Viego Bytes food delivery proposal, when viewed in terms of pestle analysis, when viewed in terms of integrated reporting, or any other model that you are applying. So you can use this line. Present a compelling opportunities for Biego to create value for the stakeholder. By carefully considering the impact of the proposal on each of the six capital, Biego can ensure that the initiative is aligned with the long-term sustainability goal and contributes to the creation of the shared value. So this is how you're going to conclude your answer. Uh, Now I'm moving towards the next part of the question. We are done with all the six capitals. Now the examiner is asking you that the CFO intends to advise the board. So, so the CFO intend to advise the board that should this proposal be implemented, it must set a range of appropriate non-financial performance indicator to monitor and evaluate the performance of the food delivery service, particularly in the first year of operation. He has asked you to include this as an appendix to the report referred to here. So you need to prepare an appendix of the report for the CFO, which is going to recommend why or for what reason, with the reason of the four non-financial performance indicator KPIs, which could be used to monitor. I'm going to tell you what appendix actually looks like, which is going to monitor and evaluate the performance of the proposed food delivery service in the first year of operation. So we need to prepare four non-financial areas. We need to prepare four non-financial areas as to if this proposal is going to be beneficial or not. And we need to demonstrate the communication skill in this scenario. So remember, appendix is nothing. It's same as a report. It is same as the report. The only thing that we change is we will write the heading of appendix and then to the CFO from senior business analyst, subject. I'm just writing the non-financial key performance indicators for Beago Bytes, and I'm going to start. So, what I believe is that the four non-financial indicators, obviously not the financial one, the non-financial the non-financial indicators that can help is the first one is the customer satisfaction score. I would rather call it as the CSAT, or the customer satisfaction score. So first one would be customer satisfaction score. The second one can be on time delivery, on time delivery rate. Like these are something that we have picked up from, these are something that we have picked up from the pre-seed. This was something given in the pre-seed, right? If you remember, if I just
Yeah, bro.
open, yeah, if I just open the pre-scene, there was something given related to this. See,
Yeah.
the customer satisfaction score, the data driver satisfaction rate. So something can be picked up from the pre-scene material as well. Then the third one that I'm going to take is the driver retention rate.
Bro, what about net promoter score?
Uh, okay, so driver retention rate, and the fourth one is going to be social media engagement. So the first one is the customer satisfaction score. Let's look at the customer satisfaction score. The customer satisfaction score says the first thing is this is an indicator if the customers will buy us from in future. No, customers will buy our service in future or not. So this is going to be first indicator that customers are going to buy services in the future. Survey will give us the results. Regular surveys are going to give us the results about the customer's experience. Customers should be recorded. Tracking customer satisfaction score over time will help us to identify which part of service area are the customers liking and disliking. And uh, analyzing this score along with comments from the customers who gave us 80% below will help us to service. So customer satisfaction score can be dealt in this manner. You can put on more pointers in this, but I believe they are enough. Then on-time delivery rate for any service this rate is crucial. For any service related business, this rate is crucial. Customers, their to deliver time. So customers expect their orders to be delivered on time. On time tracking will allow the company to make service. Yep. So on-time tracking will allow company to make the services better, and this will definitely, if the services are going to go better, this will definitely help us in facilitating our customers. Operational bottlenecks will also be identified. So operational bottlenecks will also be identified by the company, and root causes of delay can be dealt immediately as soon as the delay occurred, reducing the negative impact. Now I'm going to move towards the driver retention ratio. Driver is a critical resource in this service related business. High driver turnover will create operational hiccups. So high driver turnover will definitely create operational hiccups. High decrease in customer satisfaction score. High means that driver are satisfied with this with the company's overall experiences, attracting and retaining the drivers will be one of the major point of sense for being. Then we'll move towards the last part, that is the social media engagement. Apart from the social media engagement, you can use any other non-financial indicator as well, like the word of mouth marketing or many other marketing. So social media plays a very critical role in enhancement, in market enhancement by reviewing social media comments, mentions, and reviews. Diego can gain Diego can gain insight into customer action. Positive review means better opportunity for growth, and negative means growth forward. Improve. Right? After this, I'm going to conclude by saying that by tracking the non-financial KPIs, by tracking the non-financial KPIs, Biego can gain a comprehensive understanding of the performance of its food delivery services and identifying areas of improvement. Regularly monitoring these KPIs will enable the company to make a data-driven decision, enhance operational efficiency, and ultimately deliver the exceptional consumer services for the customers. So now I'm done with question number two, and now I'm going to move towards question number three. By the end of this session, you will get a complete full-fledged answer of this question, and I'm going to let you know how to write a full-fledged answer of this question. I'm going to give you a full-fledged answer that is written by me in accordance with this question. So, a recent cyber attack on the cloud service providers. Okay, so basically now we are moving towards the question number three. It says the recent cyber attack on the cloud service provider impacted many businesses in the Beeline, although Biego was not one of them who were affected. So Biego was actually not affected, but still we need to consider how the Biego thing is going to work. So although it was not affected, but we need to look into this. So however, the chief finance officer have being asked about to chair a meeting with some of the Biego's main investor to discuss the situation. Some investors are concerned that they have limited understanding of the cloud technology and how the risk of using the cloud services providers should be managed. The CFO has basically asked you for your assistance in preparing some information that she will present in the next board meeting. So, now what information is it there? So, we need to prepare two presentation slides with the accompanying notes, which assesses the benefits and the risk of the Biego using cloud technology. So, we need to evaluate if this cloud technology is something that is going to be beneficial for the company, or is it something that is going to be non-beneficial for the company? Okay, so I'm going to just place this over here. I'm going to make two different presentation slides. Obviously, because I'm making the presentation slides, I'm not going to use this format. Rather, I'll use the slides format for my answer. And when I'm using this slide format, I'm first allocating it in this way. So I'm going to make the presentation slide, and the first presentation slide will be benefits of cloud computing for Beago. I'm just going to bold this statement. because- So, what are the benefits that I'm going to write? There are some simple benefits that we can think of, like the cloud computing will definitely have some cost saving impact. Then flexibility, then increased increased accessibility and collaborative opportunities. Then we have enhanced security maybe. Then we have maybe disaster recovery. Then maybe focus on core activities. Then automation on software updates. Then environmental benefits. So these are going to be the cloud computing benefits for the Biegos. I'm just going to let you know in detail what these benefits basically telling us. So firstly, we have the cost saving element. So the cost saving element says that because of the fact that we are investing in the cloud computing, so we will be having a cost saving element in terms of that we do not need in big infrastructure. We do not need big storage houses in order to store our data. So this is going to be cost saved. There will be cost saving, and there will be off the shelf software that will help us in saving our cost to the ultimate level. Then flexibility means you can access this information anywhere and everywhere around the world if you have the access right. So this is something that you're going to explain in the flexibility paragraph. Now I'm writing slide number 1. So this means that after the slide area, I have the notes area. So I'm like this speaker notes. So I'm going to explain all these pointers that I've written above in the speaker notes area. Then increase accessibility and collaborative opportunity. So this cloud computing technology will help us in, we can use the ride hailing data for the benefit of the micro mobility scooters data as well. We can use the ride sharing data, can be used by the ride hailing data. So this means that it is going to increase the accessibility, and there will be some collaborative opportunities available for the individuals. Then there will be some enhanced security. Enhanced security means that you can put in past these cloud secure these cloud computing data, or the cloud computing is going to be a password protected data initiative, and only the authorized individuals are going to be will be allowed to use this data. Then there can be disaster recovery, for example, in the case of disaster, because of the fact that it is all the data is held on cloud, so you can recover it at any point of time. These disasters might include, like for example, fire, storm, or any other flood related activity. Still, you will be having your data because they are available on the online platform. Then focus on the core activity. So if you have this cloud computing model incorporated in your business, so all your data will be saved in the clouds that you have purchased, and the company management or the director's focus will only be on the core activities and not on such non-core activities, that is data security and data protection, and the data filing, data distribution. Focus on core activity. Then we have automation on the software update. So because of the fact that these cloud computing are based on the computing that relates to the software, so we will be having all our software, all our data stored on a particular cloud. There will be some software updates available. So these software updates will help us, in providing first-hand information to our clients, first-hand information to our customers. Then there will be some environmental benefits as well. Environmental benefits means that because of the fact that we are storing all our data on the cloud basis, so this will not harm the trees in paper cutting, or maybe the paper cutting exercise will be reduced to an ultimate level. We will not be using the papers in order to store our data, and we will be going totally or completely online by using this cloud computing technology. So these cloud computing technologies are really helpful when it comes to the beneficial part. So you have to explain all these pointers in the speaking notes. Then it says that you also need to write down an answer in terms of the disadvantages. So now I'm going to write out an answer as to what are the disadvantages of the cloud computing. And so think of the disadvantages as well. Obviously, there are certain disadvantages. Let's write down the disadvantages, or I would rather call it as the risk for Beago, and I will highlight or bold this. Now I'm going to write down the pointers. This is a pure basic alignments that you need to do in your examination. So first and the most important issue can be security breaches. Then they can be data loss. Then they can be vendor lock-in. Then there can be downtime, then lack of controls, then there can be compliance related to regulatory requirements or regulatory issues. Then there can be dependence on internet connectivity. So let me explain all these factors to you. When I talk about the security breaches, obviously, the cloud computing has one of the major concerns that there may be some hacking attempts, and this will basically lose our data, the customer's data, the driver's data as well. If the data are being lost, this is something that creates a serious concern, not only in terms of the financial loss for the company, but also in terms of the reputational and goodwill issues that will be created for on behalf of the company. Then there will be a vendor lock-in, which means that if the person from whom you are buying the cloud services, so this is difficult to change that person now. And it will be costly because he's not only going to provide you the cloud computing services, but also services related to the security of the cloud computing, services related to the migration of the data, and all other factors. Then there might be some downtime. For example, majority of time when we take classes, there can be some downtime related to Zoom, and there can be some downtime related to the cloud computing issues as well. Then lack of control because of the fact that you are providing this data onto a third party cloud computing website. So all your data is going to be in the website or in the clouds of the or the computing files of the third party. So you are not having the ultimate access of the control. The control is being distributed between the third party vendor, that is the cloud computer, and you guys as well, that is the company. Compliance related to regulatory requirement, obviously you are holding the data for the customers, you are holding the data for the suppliers. So if you are holding the data for the customers and the suppliers, so this means that there might be some regulatory requirement that is applicable on you as to what data you can hold and for how much period of time will you be holding. So you need to fulfill all these compliances, and there might be some regulatory requirement as to that the company need to fulfill some documentation in regard with whatever requirements, in regard with whatever data are they holding, and there might be some audit related requirements related to the data as well. Then dependence on the internet connectivity. Obviously, this data can only be accessed because of this data can only be accessed once you have the internet access. If you don't have the internet access, so you can't access this data, which is one of the major benefit if you are not having an internet access. So let's move towards the last part of this question. We are done with this speaker. We are done with this slide, and now I'm moving towards the last part, which says. Um, Draft an email response for the CFO which evaluate the extent to which disruptive technology highlighted by the CEO could have an impact on the Beago. So obviously this is the last part, and I remember that there were two areas of disruptive technologies that were highlighted by the CEO of the company: Internet of Things, driverless automation, autonomous vehicles, and Internet of Things. So it is not necessary that we are given with less amount of information on driverless cars and more amount of information on Internet of Things. So we need to justify in this manner. If you think that you can write well for the driverless cars, so you should. And if you think that you can write more on Internet of Things, but you just need to justify your answer by requiring or dividing it by 2 marks for one specific valid point. So we are being given with 18 marks in total. So I'm going to write first for the driverless cars. Let's see. I'm not making the format. The format is going to be the same. That is the professional marks are available for skepticism skills. So we are going to apply the skepticism skill again from the senior business analyst to the chief finance officer. Date, subject, everything remains the same. We will write, dear CFO, this is this and this we are evaluating. We'll start it with like, thank you for forwarding the CEO emails and concerns over the disruptive technology. I'm here to share my views on this disruptive technology, and we will start. So let's start with the first area, that is driverless autonomous vehicle. This is going to be a long term game changer. So I'm just using my own word to, define if this is a good approach or a bad in the first sentence only. I just used one line like a long-term game changer so that the examiner knows that, okay, he is going to take a very positive side of this specific thing. So we are going to first, like, if you read the question, it says, and I'm going to read the question once again: draft an email response to the CFO which evaluate the extent to which the disruptive technology highlighted by the CEO could impact Beago. So first we need to identify what driverless car actually mean, and then we need to focus on the potential impact. So there will be initial costs that CEO has highlighted. Number one. Number two is this will transformation. This will encourage transformation. This can be a strategic. This can be a strategic breakthrough. Now, what I'm going to write is, now I'm going to write the potential impact. So in the potential impact, I'm going to write both threats and opportunities. So what I believe is initial investment burden. This is obviously one of the biggest threat that we could have right now. Legal and ethical issues. Then we can evaluate it in this way, like operational efficiencies, then enhanced serviceability, then safety improvements. We have some safety improvements as well. Then competitive disruptions again. So now we also need to provide them the recommended approach. So what would be the recommended approach from our side? Continuous monitoring and controls, number one. Strategic partnership and collaboration. Then thorough cost benefit analysis, and then implementation in phases. So these are going to be the recommended approaches. So again, as the examiner says, that the CFO emailed you with the information attached from a forwarded email from the Chief Executive Officer regarding a conference he attached on the disruptive technology. He has asked for your thoughts on these disruptive technology. Draft an email response to the CFO which evaluate the extent to which the disruptive technology highlighted by the CEO could impact. So actually, he's asking you the impact. So how am I drafting this? So I have drafted this in a way that I first introduce what driverless technology actually means. Then I've decided to evaluate and give you the potential impacts, both the pros and cons, that is the threats and opportunities, and then recommended approach that how you should actually implement the driverless technology thing into the existence. So now the second thing that we are going to move forward with, the Internet of Things. So when I say Internet of Things, I'm going to use the same approach, and that is um, it includes the smart traffic systems, smart traffic management systems, uh, like clean air. Now, once I'm done with identifying what this Internet of Thing is, now I'm going to take the potential impact, that is the impact, both the threats and opportunities. So I'm going to start off with like this dynamic route planning challenges. Then I'm going to write CAZ, that is the clean air zone, charge implementation, then data driven insights, then enhanced customer experience. And then I'm going to move forward with the recommended approach. I'm going to use the same heading of recommended approach over here as well. So recommended approach can be proactive engagement with the local authority, with the local authority, and dynamic pricing, um, investment in big data analytics, uh, fair policy making, and announcement to stakeholders. Then I'm going to conclude as to my recommendation. Like, for example, I'm going to strongly recommend that you should go on investing in these technology, because this technology is going to be helpful in the future. Creating disruptive technology will force more and more sales, and will also be make the company more competitive in the market, so on and so forth. So this is how I'm going to end up my answer in this scenario, in this given scenario. Okay, so this is it from my side, and I hope so. This session was good. I'm just writing my number, WhatsApp number over here, so that if anyone wants to contact, so they can. Okay, so let's keep it till here today. Take care.